the thoughts never truly go. What occurs is that you just become aware of them. And you recognize that if you decide to believe in that thought and you decide to go with that thought and seek into it, seek into where it's coming from and who's believing it and where that belief has originated from. Was it something in your childhood or a past life, or whatever it is, the healing that you do, whatever process that you undergo, there comes a point where that thought enters into your mind and you're able to just witness it and recognize that it isn't you. That if you do attach anything to it, even if it is to ascertain as to what is the underlying belief behind it, that is just a way of going back into separation. And the ego can still do that. It can just still take you very, very quickly. But you get to a point, having done a vast majority of that healing and clearing work, where it's just, there are just some things that you can just observe and be aware of and let go. And perhaps there will be other things that come up and will take you back into separation and away from oneness. And then you do the work again and you clear it and you let it go and you shift it. But all of that clearing and shifting is not to make you a more whole, rounded person that's able to deal with whatever life throws at you from the identity and perspective of the separate self. That clearing and healing work is a way for you to be able to rest into oneness again, to recognize the truth, to keep reminding yourself of the truth, which is that you are not that separate self, that you are this amazing bundle of energy. Not even that. I mean, even energy is another form of illusion, but that you are the everything of all experience. And so this comment reminded me of that whilst I did get to a point where I ended seeking, it came after years of deep inner work. And all that deep inner work was incredibly vital and useful, and I would not change a single part of it. I found out about non-duality 3 years ago now. And whilst I could sit down and recognize immediately the direct nature and the direct truth of my experience, it didn't mean that when thoughts arose, I was able to completely let those go and observe them. It was a dual approach of applying both principles of non-duality and knowing that I'm the wholeness of experience and knowing that I'm the awareness, and having had that experience with the healing and inner work that comes from the progressive path and that comes from healing and forgiveness. And it recently came into my awareness, and I don't know who told me this, but they were listening to somebody talk about these gurus that have reached awakening or awareness, or some people who have spontaneous awakenings and they recognize the truth about who they are. And then some gurus exploit this, right? They exploit their followers and all these kind of things. And that's because they haven't necessarily let go of some of the egoic attachments. They recognize that they are beyond the world, but that they don't necessarily have that compassion for the human part of the world, which you get through following a course like A Course in Miracles or A Way of Mastery or something like that. And it's interesting to me that the last video I created really blew up. At this point, when I'm making this, it's got like around 11,000 views. And what occurred to me whilst I was sitting on it and reflecting on it is that the idea that you should just end seeking and end looking outside and just sit and rest in I am is in some respects an egoic trick again. because the ego wants that quick fix, that pill that solves it all. And I see that in so many parts of society, right? In diet culture, in the lottery, all of these things where it's like quick fix solutions rather than perhaps doing this more in inner work. And of course, it is so much easier to think, oh, I don't have to do anything. I end the seeking and I rest in the I am. And you will get there by doing that. But I don't think you'll find the sustained peace that you're seeking without letting go of your attachment to the world, your attachment to other people. Like, part of this path is to accept 100% responsibility for your life. And that's incredibly difficult. It's so much easier to blame others and see faults in others. But every fault you're seeing in somebody else, every blame you're seeing in somebody else is all a reflection of blame and fault you're seeing within yourself. Byron Katie talks often about, if you ever want to solve your relationship, solve problems in your relationship, then all you need to do is get out her worksheet and do it on yourself. Or do it, well, you do it on your partner, but on yourself. There is no use in going and speaking to that person and asking them to change or whatever, because it won't happen, because it's you. And you are creating this reality. You're such a beautiful, amazing creator that everything you're seeing within your reality right now, even down to the specks of dust on your carpet, is you. It's all coming from you. Everything is coming from you. So everything you're seeing in somebody else is from you. And if you don't like that image, you don't like that picture, then there's something within yourself that you're not liking. And that's what this progressive course teaches us. It teaches us to accept 100% responsibility. It teaches us to forgive others. It teaches us to see that all the things that we desire and seek in the world is not necessarily us. That we are here to be a conduit for the wholeness, the collective, the oneness of life. Not for my personal agenda. And I guess in some respects, this is why I'm here on this platform. It was very uncomfortable for me, however many months ago it was now when I started doing this. But I felt a real urge to do it. And it's not where I thought my life was going to be. You know, I still do want to be, in the theatre world. I want to be creating plays and writing and directing. And before that, I wanted to be an actor. I didn't even want to write or direct. I just wanted to be on a stage and I wanted people to clap for me. I really wanted that. I wanted that since I was 4 years old. I was desperate for that. And now here I am. In many respects, just doing what the universe wants me to do, I guess. So it's important to let go of the quick fix and lean into the discomfort, lean into the people that trigger you, the situations that trigger you, and ascertain as to what it is that is asking to be revealed in that moment. And then it might be that in that moment you get the real urge to sit and meditate and remember the truth of who you are. Or you might find that 2 days later, Byron Katie's book lands in your lap, or the Energy Alignment Method book lands in your lap. Everything is all pointing you in the right direction. It's important to always remember that you're in the perfect moment now. It's only your ego that is judging it to be good or bad. It is perfect already. And I think, and from my experience and from the experience of others that I know who are awakened and aware, is that it's not always necessarily just and it's done. But it's a continuous effort to not attach yourself to those thoughts, to just be watching them and aware of them. And you will get to a point where you don't need to do the work on every single thought or every single belief, because you're able to recognize instantly that that's not who you are, and that you're that massive space that's observing it. And then there'll be times where you really are in it and you really think that that's the worst thing that could ever happen. And that's okay, and that is perfect, because it's all leading you to exactly where you're meant to be, which is to be here and now and in this present moment. I'm sending you all so much love. I'm thanking you all so much for your wonderful comments and for feeling the urge and guidance to be here and to be with me in these moments. It's really beautiful. How wonderful, isn't it? It's great.